I came across this photograph while doing initial collection survey work very soon after I started working here in 2010, and it immediately caught my eye. And the more I looked at it, the more fascinating it became for me. It's a photograph of a group of people standing on the front steps of a church, and the inscriptions on the front and the back say that it was taken in 1925 in Butler, Pennsylvania. Butler at that time was a factory town just north of Pittsburgh that was the home of Armco Steel, a Pullman train car factory, and some early automobile manufacturing. In the middle of the top row is the parish priest, as well as a bishop in Eastern Orthodox or Greek Catholic vestments. We actually know that he's Orthodox because he has a very recognizable face and we know exactly who he is. He's Archbishop Ioan, or John, Teodorovich, who was sent to North America by the Ukrainian Autocephalous Orthodox Church based in Kyiv to shepherd Ukrainian Orthodox faithful in the US and Canada. Next to him is Father Ivan Palyi, who is also recognizable from other well-documented photographs. But what I find most interesting about this photograph are all of the other people. Their faces are so distinctive. You can almost imagine being able to see their personalities right there in the photograph. And for me at least, they just look really Ukrainian. I mean, I look at some of them and think, I've seen that guy before. And in a few cases, they look exactly like Ukrainians I have personally known. There's a wide range of ages represented here, from children to teenagers to older adults. It's interesting to look at some of these guys and imagine what sorts of work they might have done during the week. But what's really curious is who's missing. It might not immediately jump out at you, but once you see it, it's blindingly obvious. There is not one single adult woman in this photograph. Now, there's no way for us to really know, now, almost 100 years later, exactly why that's the case, but my personal suspicion is that all of the adult women were in the church basement preparing the post-liturgy meal, and so they just missed the photo. Some of the younger people in the crowd are wearing what look like scouting uniforms. Ukrainian Americans might assume that they're members of a Ukrainian scouting organization like Plast, but that's probably not the case. Plast had just been founded only about 10 years earlier in Ukraine, or more precisely in the area of today's Ukraine that was then part of the Austro-Hungarian Empire. But it didn't make it across the ocean along with these early immigration waves. Plast, as such, didn't really get started in North America until the arrival of the post-World War II refugees. There were efforts to organize distinctively Ukrainian Boy and Girl Scout troops in the US, but apparently that didn't happen until the 1930s. So it's pretty likely that these young people are in fact regular old American Boy and Girl Scouts. The other obvious question is, who are all those dudes in the military-style uniforms? Well, they're almost certainly members of an organization known as the Sich, which was formed in Ukraine around 1900, and its official mission was gymnastics and physical culture. And in a lot of ways, it was similar to the Ukrainian, Polish, and Slovak Sokol, or Falcon organizations of the same period. They also apparently provided firefighting services in towns and villages. The Sich organization did make its way to the United States, and it became quite popular in Ukrainian American communities in the early part of the 20th century. But during and after the ill-fated period of Ukrainian independence that began in 1917, the Sich started taking on more paramilitary overtones, with military-style uniforms and marching drills. There was even an idea floated of forming a Ukrainian-American legion to fight in Europe during World War I. In the mid-1920s, the Sich leadership became more political, and it openly professed support for Hetman Pavlo Skoropadsky, the would-be Ukrainian monarch who had led one of the three independent Ukrainian governments that rose and fell between 1917 and 1921. But it's not clear how much the guys in this photo would have cared about those sorts of things. In any case, they seem to have taken their drills in gymnastics and physical culture pretty seriously. Or at least their leadership did. In 1919, they published this little booklet that provided detailed instructions. It included exactly how to execute drill commands. It codified sets of gymnastics exercises, complete with diagrams, instructions, and even a chant that goes along with the movements. And for the more adventurous, it had diagrams of various kinds of human pyramids. Overall, this fascinating photograph represents a lot of what the UHEC is about. It tells the stories of Ukrainian immigration to the United States, the lives of those immigrants here, the Ukrainian-American communities and organizations, both religious and secular, that they formed, and their interactions with the wider American society. In fact, it's so emblematic that we have been using it as a banner image on our website homepage, on Facebook, and even on an actual physical banner that we've used at in-person events back in pre-pandemic days. And we hope that this video has explained why we think this image is so interesting and important.